Hello, and welcome back to the last video of me planning the D&D 5e campaign. Well, at least this part of the D&D 5e campaign. It's just one dungeon, one big mission that the party will get. If you want to hear the full story, go back to the start and listen up to this point, and you will understand what is going on. There's a lot. So, in the last 3 videos, we planned the first point that the party would be at, followed by them actually going into the dungeon, what they would find, and then them going to the second floor of the dungeon. The third floor of the dungeon will be made up exclusively of the boss monster. It will be the nest that the shambling mold has made. So, let's go on with it. So, the dungeon room is going to be fairly simple. They will come down the stairs, heading northwards, come into a large octagonal room, because apparently this dungeon appears to like octagons for some reason. There'll be no exit out, just this is where they are. They'll have to go back through the dungeon to get out, because otherwise, as I said before, I don't really like in Skyrim how you get to the end dungeon and there's a secret route out, because if there was a secret route out, surely I should be able to find it. Also, I've been planning this so far for 3.5 hours, completely sober. And that's because I've been trying to emulate other more professional Dungeons & Dragons games masters and dungeon masters who appear to only drink water and subsist on the tears of their players. Me, I need something a bit more substance. So, I have a hot chocolate with brandy in it. If you want to know what it's called the Baron. Because, of course it is. Seriously, I need a drink called Player's Tears. Now, that'd be fantastic. So, plan out the nest. The nest of the shambling mould will be towards the middle. The players will see a cascade of vines going in all directions. Resulting in a swirl towards the middle. Now, to make the boss fight more fun, I'll be adding terrain disadvantages to the party. Because if they get past the vine area, it will of course count as difficult terrain, halving their speed. Very unfortunate for a party member, including one halfling, who has already got reduced speed. And right smack in the middle is the big boss. Which, for some reason, I always denote the final boss encounter with like a key symbol. I think in my head it's meant to be like a skull, but it always comes out looking like a keyhole. So, that's what it is. So, let's get the stats for the Shambling Horror. This is a fairly simple fight. The majority of the video is actually going to be me organising loot, experience points, and similar. Because once we know what the total experience value of the dungeon has been, we can then reverse calculate how much experience the party will get from this dungeon, what level they'll be at afterwards, and also what the treasure hoard they should find in the Sovereign Myconid. That's the one. What the loot they'll find in the Sovereign Myconid's room will be, because that will be the actual loot for this area. As I've said before, I don't really like putting the loot in the same room as the final boss, unless the final boss is a dragon or an ogre or some kind of giant, something that typically hoards treasure. Because otherwise, and here is a wild cat. Opal, come on. Oh, who's a fluffy? Are you the games master? No, you're not the games master. Come on, let's put you up for a minute. Come on. Go. A wild tabaxi. Right. So it's great having a cat while you're D&D planning. It's just like, you're halfway through a plan and then cat suddenly walks past and it's like, oh, cat, that's something different. Right then. Yep, always a cruel thing where a plant-based enemy is actually resistant to fire. But that's because it's mold, not like a tree or something. So this monstrosity has 16d10 plus 48 hit points. So let's work out its hit points first. So 16d10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is a lot of dice. That is a lot of dice for hit points. That's like a level 16 paladin or a fighter would have that many hit points. But no, instead it'll be the boss encounter for a group of level 3 or 4 players. Okay, we hold dice, so pull out the high numbers, 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, a 7, an 8, a 6, a 9, and a 4. Because this is a boss encounter, as I said, with holding dice, I re-roll the lower numbers. With boss encounters, I re-roll 3 times total. Otherwise, it may wind up not being enough of a challenge for the party. So there's an 8 and a 5. Now re-roll the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. Jesus. And we'll see what its final hit points are. Okay. 10, 5, there's another 4, there's another 8, and there is a 2. So the final hit points for the shambling mold that the party will have to face will be 20, 18, 16, 32, 14, 10, 10, and 6, 8, 10, 14, 20. Yeah, weirdly. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, plus 48. So the hit points of the shambling mold will be 178 hit points. Okay, so we have its hit points. Its armor class being 15. And when a shambling mold is subject to lightning damage, it takes no damage and regains a number of hit points equal to the lightning damage dealt. That will be quite fun. They are fairly slow. There's only a speed of 20 feet, so even with the reduced speed, it'll only just be a little faster than the slowest member of the party. Booze. So, the damage it can throw around, we're talking about slam attack, which does 2d8 plus 4 bludgeon, and has a plus 7 to hit, and is a multi-attack. And it engulfs on a double hit. Basically, what that means is, the reason I chose the Shambling Horror is because I've got so many party members that are physically strong enough or physically capable enough to deal pure damage. This is an enemy that, if it lands 2 successful hits on an individual target, will engulf them and begin doing basically restriction damage. So that should be fairly fun for the party. So make sure I've got Shambling Mould. Oh, Shambling Mound. I've been calling it Shambling Mould this entire time. It's a Shambling Mound. Lightning Absorb. Shambling Mound. Page 270. Fantastic. Now I just want to take a look at one more thing that will make this boss battle a little bit more interesting. Legendary capacity. Now, legendary actions. Sorry, Jenny is back in the room at the moment and is giving me sad eyes at the mention of legendary actions. Anyone who knows what a legendary action is knows that they can be a bit mean to party members. Right. Where do we find what legendary actions can be taken? Ah, so it's particular to certain enemies, I see. Now that said, it is possible to apply legendary actions to non-legendary enemies. And if this thing is meant to be a enemy sent out to deal with another problem, it will therefore most likely have legendary actions. Let's see if we just have a list of legendary actions that are applicable. No. That's the index stat blocks. It's not what we're looking for. That's miscellaneous creatures. You'd think there'd be a list of legendary actions that a creature could take somewhere in the monster manual. Is it perhaps in the Dungeon Master's Guide? If it is not, it will be something I may add before the fight. It may be something I don't add before the fight. It's something I want to have the option of ready to go if I feel that the party are having too easy a time. No, not there. Right, I will have to look through a different book at a different date to see about adding legendary actions to the Shambling Mould. To be honest, looking at these, I don't think anything would be appropriate for the enemy that they're facing at the moment. Well, maybe the chance for it to make one additional attack in a round, but that doesn't matter at the moment. If I don't go forward with any legendary actions, it will have an experience point gain of 1800 for floor 3. Once they kill this Shambling Mould, there is some loot that will be revealed. Basically, by killing the Shambling Mould, its nest will disappear with it, its nest being a part of its own body. The Shambling Mould will reveal that it had covered a small shrine, basically the burial place of Giovanni, the last champion of Nigella.
Airbender. Sorry.
Giovanni Airbender?
You said he was the last and I just went Airbender.
Oh, the last. Okay.
Sorry.
That's alright. Now, I need the special blue book. Now, my party know what happens when this blue book appears, and they are usually very happy about it. This is my book of homebrew. These are items or objects that I work on that are non-basis to the standard books. These are my own weapons, armour, and other such things. The items that will be found within the temple of, well, the shrine of Giovanni will include a journal of the last disciple of Giovanni, who is, I've got the name of that, here we are, James of Olivier. The obvious pun should be obvious. The Journal of James of Olivier, who was the disciple of Giovanni Calderone. Now, if you actually know cooking at all, you would know that Giovanni Calderone was one of the teachers of Jamie Oliver. The obvious jokes are obvious, and thank you very much, Big Bro, for making me have to add in enemies based on famous chefs. But that's quite alright, I'm actually enjoying this. And from the journal, there will be ideas of where Giovanni left certain artifacts. James of Olivier having not found all of them himself, but knowing where his master left them. I will be writing up notes to hand over to my brother who is playing Freslin, who is looking for these artifacts. Okay, alongside that will be the necklace. So I have got a name for that here. Here we go. The amulet of the cooking goddess, or the amulet of Nigella, as it will be called. I have the details of that here. What the amulet will allow him to do will allow him to attune to 6 items, including the necklace, as long as they are of the set of the kitchen goddess. That said, if while attuned to the necklace he attunes to a weapon that is not of the kitchen set, the necklace will disappear, and he will have to look for it again. Here we go. It's not actually the Journal of James of Olivier. Sorry, that was me getting it wrong. It is actually a book you will need to attune to. It will give him advantage on cooking utensils, detect utensils of the kitchen goddess. There's a compass on the front of the book, and it spins to the nearest after attuned. Does not count those held by the paladin or cleric of the kitchen goddess. So that's that item, and he'll have the necklace as well. So we'll have 3 of the items total. I knew he was going to get 2 of the items, I just couldn't remember which. And of course, as with all attunement, you can de-attune for an item at any time, as long as you take a 1 hour time to do it. So that is what is under the shambling mound. So, now for the more important thing. What is the actual loot and experience points of this entire dungeon going to be? So, calculating everything the party has done, we're left with the village and floor 1 equates to 3,900 experience points, floor 2 equates to 5,200, and the final boss accounts for 1,800 experience points. So that gives us 10,900 EXP to share across the party. So for the party, let's even that out. Let's call it 11,000 due to challenge rating on top of that. So 25,000, 2,750 EXP each. That should be enough to get them to level 4 if they aren't already, and if they aren't already, I expect someone to die. That said, I don't actually expect any of my players to die, really. You don't build a game with the intention of killing off one of your party. It would just be inadvisable for them to take this on without proper preparation and doing the smaller missions first, which will get them to level 4. Going from there, by the end of this entire set campaign set on this island, they should be at level 5. Or at least getting close to level 5. So, that is the experience drop. So, 11,000 experience. Let's find out how much loot the party should get from 11,000 challenge rating. Here we go. 11,000 would be a challenge rating of, it's about a 13.5. It's a bit higher than a challenge rating of 13, a bit lower than a challenge rating of 14. Now, the way I've always understood challenge rating in 5e is if it's a challenge rating of 14, it should be deadly for a single character of level 14. Now that said, that's assuming one singular encounter. This is taking into consideration long rests, short rests, potion taking, time to prepare, time to buff, everything else that they have the opportunity for. So I think a reward of CR 14 is perfectly valid for the party. Here we are, treasure hoards. Okay. So there's a lot of gold in this, I'll say that now. What I like to do with the gold is I like to divide it down into into physical. Things they have to sell, things they have to do something with. So, let's find out how much money they all come away with. Challenge rating 11 to 16. I think a better challenge rating would actually be they finish a job based on treasure hoard challenge 5 to 10 actually. Because with the accounted short rests and long rests and everything else, let's drop it a little bit. At least that's how I always assume it is. Or do we just actually give you the money but reduce the GP and PP? Yeah. We're going to go off the challenge rating 11 to 16 table. I think the treasure hoard table for everything else is a bit silly. It doesn't account for difficulty of a campaign. It just accounts for difficulty of a boss. And to be honest, that was the case. The person actually hoarding it was a challenge rating of 2. So I don't think that's a worthy reward for what they have faced. So we need the D100 to calculate actual treasure, and then we need 4d6. So it should be 4d6 times 1,000 for gold. That's 10, 16, 16,000 GP. And 5d6 times 100 platinum pieces. 5, 9, 13, 15, 21. 2,100 platinum pieces, according to the book.
Sorry.
Oh, did you get the crab?
Yes, I caught the crab that I've been chasing for the last half hour.
Jenny is currently playing the Animal Crossing New Horizons.
I was trying to catch a red king crab.
And she's just managed it, well done her.
Yeah, now I never have to do that again.
Let's adjust the GP, taking away 100th of that, so they'll be left with 1,600 gold pieces and 210 platinum pieces. More than enough, I think, for 4 level 4 or 4 level 5 party members. Especially once I divide that down and break it down into, you know, physical things. But we need those. What else do they get? 91, so one of the higher end ones actually. Gemstones, they get 3d6, so approximately 10, yeah, that seems about right. 3d6, 1,000 GP gemstones. So 12.
Take this blathers, you feathery fuck.
Thank you, Jenny.
Sorry.
That is a great middle range. 91 total. Reroll D4 times on the magic item table H. These are always the more interesting ones. So, we roll the D4. 1, reroll it. 2, that works. Table H. 2 items off table H. H, here we are. So that's a 12. Yeah, I'm not giving them an amulet of the plains. I can say that right now. 43. A staff of power.
I wonder who will have that.
Thank you, Jenny. An 82. A Eon stone. What's an Eon stone?
Stone for me, one.
Thank you, Jenny. And it says leadership. Now, we'll take a look at what those 2 items are and see if they're actually appropriate to the party and the story. There's no point giving the party something that they can't use. There's no one in the party that could use it or would be useless, basically, to the party as an item. So here we are. The Eowyn stones, named after Eowyn, god of knowledge and prophecy, revered by some of the worlds. Many types of Eowyn stone exist. Each type is a distinct combination of shape and colour. Use an action, toss one of these stones into the air. The stone orbits your head at a distance of d3 feet. Right, it has to be physically separated from you. And whoever got this got the leadership. To be honest, with how the stat layout is on the party, it's not a particularly great one. Because anyone who does have a high charisma, who needs one, already has one, or they don't actually want one due to character storyline. So the Eowyn Stone of Leadership is not an appropriate one for the party. Let's have another roll. 82. Same pissing thing. 86. A Manual of Gainful Exercise. Alright. What does this one do? Manual of Gainful Exercise. Wondrous item, very rare. The book describes fitness exercises and its words are charged with magic. Spend 48 days, strength score by 2, and as does your maximum for that score. Ah, okay. So using it once would give a person a +2 to their strength stat. Permanent one. Could be something to give to the party. Just not particularly a fan of things like that. I like things that are a bit more hardy. Horns of Valhalla in bronze. Horn of Valhalla, the bronze Horn of Valhalla, summons a horde of berserkers. No. Absolutely not. Not a chance. I am not having another game where a certain party member has the ability to summon a load of assistants.
2. At the minute, 2.
3. Celadine is level 3, she can summon 3 kobolds.
Oh.
21, let's try that. I'll be honest, this table is not great. 34. Rod of the Pact Keeper. Here we go. Rod, you get the bonus to spell attack rolls and to save those DCs of your Warlock spells. So Warlock only. No point in this party. 54. Wand of the War Mage. Again, this may not be as useful as it sounds to this party. Here we are. While holding the wand, tuned by a spellcaster, bonus spell attack rolls determined by the wand's rarity. In addition, you ignore half cover when making a spell attack. I feel like that doesn't make a lot of sense for where they are. I mean, again, this is a problem with the tables. I mean, the Staff of Power may very well work. So let's just double check what that does. But there's a lot of ones here. Here we go. Must be attuned by a sorcerer, warlock, or a wizard. Staff can be wielded as a magic quarterstaff that gains +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls, with it while holding, gain +2 to armor class saving throws and spell attack rolls. The staff has 20 charge of the following properties. The staff regains on a 20, the staff regains d8 +2 charges. Alright then, so there's a lot of effect in that situation. So I think that would be a perfectly good one to give to the party. Of course, the only one that can take that is Mooley, but at the moment she's running no weapons whatsoever. But she may decide not to use it, which is entirely down to player autonomy. 75, an ever-smoking bottle. That might be okay. If this doesn't work, I'm dropping down a chart level. Ever-smoking bottle. Smoke leaks from the lead-stoppered mouth of this brass bottle, which weighs 1 pound. When you use an action to remove the stopper, a cloud of thick smoke pours out in 6-foot radius from the bottle. The cloud's area is heavily obscured. Each minute the bottle remains open, and within the cloud the radius increases. Happens as long as the bottle is open. Closing the bottle requires you to speak its command word as an action. When it will close, the cloud disperses after 10 minutes. Moderate wind, 11 to 20 miles per hour, can disperse the smoke after 1 minute. Yeah, why not? I can accept that. Now, let's sort out those gemstones, and then we will allot additional loot, and then that's it. Then we are actually done with planning this whole campaign. What's up?
Nothing.
You just looked at me weird over that. Not the whole campaign as in, like, the whole game is over at that point. You're not going to finish at level 5.
No, I wasn't looking at you. I was going to tell you something interesting. Blathers just told me.
Oh yeah, go on.
Red king crabs have only got 8 legs.
Yes.
Most crabs have got 10.
Did not know that.
An interesting fact taught to you by Blathers. Woohoo!
Well, good for him. Here we are. Yep, the Myconid Sovereign. The loot of the Myconid Sovereign. Very important here. So, guaranteed. Ooh, give them a roll check. So, baseline, they'll get that. A DC search of 15 will get them the Staff of Power. '21, ever smoking bottle. Right, then I suppose we can actually add that gold value back in and the platinum value, I suppose. What about the gemstones? Well, let's say they find 4 in the base group, 4 in the second group, and 4 in the third group. We need a d8 to work out what gemstones they find. So, of the first lot of gemstones they find, they'll find 4 blue sapphires. In the second lot, they will find 4 black opals. Exactly what you saw earlier in the video. And on the third lot, they'll find 4 star sapphires. Right. So that's at least that much. Now we need to divide the money down into what's reasonable to be broken down into actual money or additional loot. So 16,000 and 2,100 PP. 2,100 PP, that'd be 700 platinum pieces as baseline. So I think, yeah, 700 PP, right for them there, and 1,600, that would be, could be 500. It would be 5,330. Let's just call it 5,500 gold pieces, just as average. And then we'll divide that down further, so they find 2,000 GP without searching, and 200 platinum pieces without searching. They will then go on to find a further 5,000 GP and 700 PP if they manage to look a bit better, and if they look good again, a further 5k GP and a further 700 PP. Actually, mark that as 200 platinum pieces again, and in that section in the last section they won't get any secondary items, they'll just straight get the money. In the DC 15 they'll get the gold pieces, but I will split down 5,000 GP into other articles of things for them. And in the first section I will split down about 8,000 gold pieces into things for them to sell at later dates. So let's have a look what we can divide it down into. Any magic items of a reasonable worth will be applicable. Any... You right?
Mm-hmm.
How you doing?
Fine.
Good. Let's take a look at some art objects first. So 7,500 gold pieces as an art object, that seems like a pretty good shot. So let's go with a small gold statuette. Yep. Because then, if they forget about it, they don't get the money. It's that simple. And that way I've not broken my economy. And then I can dole out money as I feel is appropriate based on rewards they've done or location they're in. Second one, we've got 5,000 gold pieces to break down. Let's break that down.
One of my animals is warming their hands on a little bonfire I built.
Oh, that's adorable. 5,000 gold pieces. Let's see what they could get if they were outright buying it. Oh, I just thought what I could definitely throw in there. Mounts and vehicles. Price of chariot, 250 gold pieces. Let's say there are 2 chariots there. If they can get them out, they're welcome to them. I need to divide down 4,000 gold pieces into something that's a bit easier to handle. Also, if I just dumped all that money on them anyway, there's no way they could physically carry it out. I don't think any of them have a bag of holding or anything either. Do you?
Hmm?
Bag of holding?
Not in that campaign, no.
No, I didn't think so. Always endeavour to assist your party members. Let's throw a couple of healing potions in there just in case. So a greater healing potion would be the value of 50. A greater healing potion therefore would be 100, with a superior healing potion being 200. You always multiply up from the last value for the healing potions. At least that's how it was in first edition. That's the rule I've always stuck to. And I think as a final item, some art objects. Let's finish up with a couple of art objects. I think the art objects are a good way of actually controlling player money to an extent. It's not as easy to get rid of, and it's a reason for them to be reasonably well equipped to carry things. I mean, the party at the moment obviously have a pony and a donkey that they're carrying everything on, which works. Yep. Let's roll a d8 for this one. 3. Well, we've already got a small gold statuette. How about something different? Ah, a gold cup set with emeralds. There we are. And the absolute last one to drop on them, if they manage to roll the 21 or higher, man, they're like gold cups. And gold statuettes, apparently. A gold jewellery box. And that is what the party will be able to receive. 2,750 experience points each. The party currently have 1,400 each. Just as a reference. What would the level up be, therefore? So we check Player's Handbook. Great piece of equipment, this. So looking for leveling up parameters. Beyond first level, 15. Here we are. So the party currently have 1,400. So yeah, 2,500 would definitely get the entire party into level 4, but would not get them to level 5. 1,400 plus 2,550, 3,950, 4,950. I think that's a fair cop, personally. There it is. 2,750 each. So 2,550, I said it was 3950, so 4150 experience points. They will still need 2,400 to get to level 5, which I think I have a way of getting them there, or at least very close. So thank you very much for joining me in building an entire dungeon, including all the nonsense and math that I feel like no one ever mentions goes into role-playing games and Dungeon Masters and the work that we do for the fun that we all have. I'm not saying that in some kind of, ooh, aren't we special, aren't we thankful. Honestly, most Dungeon Masters find this fun. And I think the worst part of it is sometimes we get so engrossed in it, we forget, you know, everything else. For example, I've been in here for about 4.5 hours. And that's made my wife quite sad. I'm very sorry, dear. It's alright. You can hear that it's not. So, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe to future videos. And if you do like these kind of videos, please let me know. I want to make content that people find interesting. So, thank you very much. And good night.